So for Unit 12, Lesson 3, so there's my first mistake already. You need to, on your notes, I already printed them out. So you need to change that 12.2 to 12.3, sorry. So 12.3, we're talking about sample space. We talked a little bit about sample space in the 12.2 lesson. Sample space is the list of possible outcomes. So that's what we're going to talk about today. How do we find the list of all possible outcomes? And we're going to do that with cell phones. So here's your options for 3 types of cell phones: iPhone X, iPhone 8, and iPhone 7. According to the screenshot of the iPhone models, how many different colors does the iPhone X have, and what are they? So the iPhone 10. I don't even know what I'm talking about. So that iPhone comes in 2 colors, and I'm like, I look down here and it says silver and space gray. So how many options is it? 2, and you don't have to write out the whole thing. You can write out S and SG for silver and space gray. What question? Oh, I missed one. Oh, and I just wrote it in the wrong spot. Sorry, I'm messing up all over the place here. Give me 1 second. So this one has 2, and it's silver and space gray. And how about the iPhone 8? The iPhone 8 had 4 choices. Of course, they had to have fancy names: silver, space gray, gold, and then red. And how many different colors does the iPhone 7 have? It's got a lot more options. So I was like, wait, why does it have black and black? Well, apparently it's fancy. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 colors. So it's got 5 colors. That is jet black, regular black, silver, gold, or rose gold. So the first choice is what color phone do you want? And then the second choice is what's its capacity. So what are the gigabyte options? So this one has 64, so there's 2 options. You can get 64 or 256 gigabytes. So now we're going to talk about how can we figure out that list easily instead of having to go through and write every single thing and say like, well, you could get a space gray or silver with 64 or space gray with 64, or you could get a silver with 256 or a space gray with 256. In order to find all the possible outcomes easily, you can make a tree diagram. So you start with your first choice. This says how many outcomes are there for the iPhone in regards to color and capacity. So how many choices were there for color? There were 2. So that's the top of our tree diagram: silver and space gray. Then we list our other ones. It could be silver and 64, so we got a branch off that. Could be 64. We have a branch off that, or it could be 256. And then space gray is the same choice: 64 or 256. So there are 4 different outcomes, 4 different possibilities. You could have silver 64 gigabytes, silver 256 gigabytes, space gray 64, or space gray 256. Then the next one says, how about for the iPhone 7? That one has a lot more choices because the iPhone 7 had 5 different options for the color. So for our color, we might have to write this a little bit smaller so that it'll fit. We have jet black, we had regular black, we had silver, we had gold, and we could have had rose gold. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 choices, 5 colors. Then same thing. It would be 32, 128, 32, 128. So each one of these, I'm sorry, I'm running out of space, would have 32 or 128. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 different options that you could have. Now we're going to try this in some other situations. We still are finding the sample space, and we're going to use tree diagram. You could use a list if that works easier for you, but I think the tree diagram just makes it more systematic. Nevaeh wants to color the flower below. She wants to color the inside of the flower either yellow or orange. So she's got two choices for the inside of the flower. It could be yellow or it could be orange. She wants to color all the petals the same color, so they're all either going to be blue, purple, pink, or red. Blue, purple, pink, or red. So it could be blue, could be purple. We can't use P again, so we got to actually use pink and red because we can't have PP for pink and purple. And then orange could be the same thing. It could be orange with blue. It could be orange with purple. It could be orange with pink. Or it could be orange with red. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 8 possible outcomes, 8 possible ways that she could color that. Orange with blue, orange with pink, orange with red, and so on. So there are 8 possible outcomes for that situation. Now see if you can try numbers 8, 9, and 10. You're going to check those with the Edpuzzle video. And at the very bottom, we're looking, is there a shortcut that we can use? So question 11, is there a way to figure out the number of outcomes without making a list or a tree diagram? Do you see any of the patterns that you could use? Like how many has to do with how many choices. So there's 2 choices for the first one here. So I'm looking back at number 7. There are 2 choices and then 2 choices for each color and then 2 choices for the other color. Sorry, 4 choices for the other color. So it could be yellow and orange, 2 choices. It could be blue, purple, pink, red, 4 choices. To get 8, we could multiply those together. So there is another way that you could use. There is a shortcut way that you could use to find all your possibilities. You could multiply the number of choices, the number of choices 1 times the number for choice 2. Here's why this is important for you. The sample space, the number of outcomes, that's going to be the denominator in your probability fraction, like we learned yesterday, or I'm sorry, that we learned in the last lesson in 12.2, that the number of possible outcomes was on the bottom. This is the number of possible outcomes, the sample space. So the shortcut, you just do how many ways you can do the first thing times how many ways you can do the second thing to get your denominator. Now you're going to look at go to Schoology. You're going to do the practice, the Google form practice on 12.3 Schoology.